Hi there, this is Ronnie, Amber's Night, coming at you with a video. I thought I'd just throw this one out. It's kind of late at night, which is why this video looks a little weird. I really ought to get some decent lights in here for this. I just saw a video, and it's the usual idiots essentially talking about having a straight Pride Month. The point that they're making is that they feel as Christians that they are now a persecuted minority because they're not allowed to be against gay people. And they feel that they are being persecuted and they have to stand up, and this is why they should have straight pride. And I just want to be very clear when I say this. Guys, you are talking absolute bollocks. Simple as that. You are talking complete and utter rubbish. And let me tell you why. First, the gay community are not looking for special treatment. They're not looking for extra consideration. They're looking for the same rights that we as straight people take for granted. They're not looking for specialist treatment. They're just looking for the rights that they should have as human beings. They are being denied those rights, whilst simultaneously those who are of a religious persuasion, when voicing their sometimes vehement bigotry, are demanding not equal consideration, but special treatment. What these Christians mean when they say that they are being persecuted isn't that they're actually being denied rights, because they're not. What they mean is they're being denied special consideration. Well, I got news for them. You don't deserve it. You have no right, simply because of an act you chose, that is, to believe in a specific religion, and in a specific section of that religion, and the specific tenets of the specific section of a specific religion, that you believe that you have the right to specialist treatment. This is nuts. You have no right to that. You have the right to voice your opinion. That right has never been taken away from you, and never will be. You have the right to say that you don't agree that gay people should have equal rights. Now, that is your right to say that. I think you're stupid, but you have the right to say that. However, firstly, you should do so in a respectful manner. Secondly, you should use facts, not opinions and call them facts, not lies and call them facts, but actual facts. And not distortions and calling them representative facts, but actual facts. This is where most Christians get into trouble, because they can't actually come up with any facts to support their claim that are actual facts rather than lies, distortions, or personal opinions. But here's the other thing, and I've mentioned it in other places. Absolutely tantamount to the right of free speech within the legal limits. That is, you're not allowed to libel or slander, you're not allowed to incite violence or criminality. And if you fall foul of those, then, quite frankly, the fact that you're a religious institution shouldn't save you, and that goes back to not giving you specialist treatment. But fundamental to the freedom of speech is the right of reply. If you say something in a public forum, even in a living room with family, even or on Facebook or here on YouTube, you do so knowing or accepting that what you say may be agreed or disagreed with. Now, you may choose on these sorts of forums to delete negative comments, especially if they are quite abusive. Certainly, people have the right to do that. But what you do not have the right to say is, I will have my say. I'm going to respond to that. No, because if you respond to that, you are denying me my freedom of speech. Wrong. If you allow freedom of speech, then you are allowing the right to reply. And this is the other thing Christians don't like. What Christians want is specialist treatment and the right to say their sometimes very extreme views without response. See, the minute you respond, they scream freedom of speech. You are violating my freedom of speech. Wrong. If I silence you, if I tell you you cannot say it, then, that's me denying you freedom of speech. But if you say something and I challenge you on it, that is not me denying your freedom of speech. If you then claim that I shouldn't be allowed to respond to you, you are denying my freedom of speech. See how it works? What you're actually doing when you are screaming to the rafters that you are being denied your freedom of speech, that you demand the right to say what you want without reply, you are demanding that everyone else be denied their freedom of speech. Or, moreover, that only praising voices should be heard, that dissenting voices should not. This is stupid, but it shows a fundamental flaw in thinking of a lot of these people. They cannot understand that the right to freedom of speech comes with certain tenets. As I say, you're not allowed to slander, you're not allowed to incite violence. But it comes with the right of reply. The right of reply is fundamental. It is part of freedom of speech. If you do not want your views challenged in a public forum, then I suggest very simply that you don't say it. Now, that's not me saying don't speak. That's me saying that if you do speak in a public forum, such as YouTube, such as Facebook or Twitter or a radio station, whatever, you accept that there will be people who will agree with you and that there will be people who will disagree with you. Now, you certainly have the right to expect that those people who disagree with you with a respectful tone, that they disagree with you without slander, that they don't incite violence or criminality. The same limits to freedom of speech apply equally to the right to reply. But if that person responds to you respectfully, coherently, and doesn't fall foul of slander or incitement, they have that right. And if you say no, they do not have that right, then you are denying freedom of speech. Now, Christians can fully talk about the fact that some, not all Christians, and I think it's slowly turning into fewer and fewer and fewer actually object. You can say, I do not believe. You can say, my view of the Bible is, it is not acceptable. What you cannot do is discriminate. What you cannot do is, for example, they're talking about what they're going to tell children. Well, they can tell children simply this. The law of the land as it stands, if they do allow same-sex marriages to happen, the law of the land stands that marriage is open to both heterosexual and homosexual couples. You can then add, but for myself as a Christian, it is not something I agree with. And that is your right to say that in those words. That's perfectly fine. That is a statement of opinion that is said respectfully. But they don't want that. The Christians do not want that. They want to go beyond that. They want to be able to say, we think they're perverts. We think that's disgusting. We shouldn't be allowed to have it. And because we don't believe you should have it, no one should. There's a wonderful sign, I put it on my Facebook page, that says, if you have a problem with gay marriage, stop having gay children. The fact is, being gay is not a choice. And I know that as a straight person. It is so obvious that it's not a choice. The choice is whether to live a lie or not. Being a bigot is a choice. Being religious or not having faith, I believe everyone has a faith of some description, but choosing to follow a particular religion, and in that respect following a particular section of that religion, and picking and choosing which elements of that particular religion's tenets that you wish to follow. Those are choices, and they are choices that you are using to justify specialist treatment for you whilst denying equal treatment to others because of how they are. Not because they are doing anything criminal, not because they are doing anything immoral. And no, I do not believe being gay is immoral. I believe, just because you're gay doesn't make you immoral. It's like saying that all heterosexuals are moral. It's a bloody joke. It's a strange thing. Christians screaming about persecution. They don't know persecution. They haven't known persecution since the days of Romans and the lions. What they're having is their special place, their special treatment questioned, rightly so. So, to the unbelievably huge amount of liberal and moderate Christians out there who hang their head and go, oh my God, what are these guys saying in our name? Stand up, for God's sake. And I do mean that, for God's sake. Stand up, make yourself heard. These right-wingers are ripping your religion to hell. To the right-wing Christians, I simply say this: stop talking out your arse. Stop it. It's just making you look silly. It just, get a life, guys. Really get a life. This is probably the last video I'm going to do on this subject directly. I think the only positive that comes out of it is, as the move towards equality goes on, the arguments from the naysayers have become more and more extreme because they're running out of options. So they're becoming more and more extreme and coming up with more and more ridiculous ideas to try and stop it. I think they need to wake up, open their eyes, their minds, their hearts, start using that reason, that God-given reason in their head, and actually realize that what they've been saying is utter bollocks.